The brand new co-op mode is now available in Le Mans Ultimate, and it's the first cooperative racing mode of its kind in any modern simulator. Now with this obviously comes a lot of questions like how does it work and is it something I'd be interested in? Well, today we'll be telling you everything you need to know. So at a glance, the co-op mode in Le Mans Ultimate is essentially a hybrid form of single player, where you and two other friends can work together to complete a longer endurance style race against AI opponents. Now this mode is asynchronous, which means that you and your friends will be taking turns to drive the car during the race, but it means that you won't actually be able to watch each other drive, and the race session is not an online lobby. Basically, it's a single player race that can be saved during pit stops, and then the session can be loaded up and taken over by another one of your friends. Once they've finished their desired amount of driving time, they can then perform a pit stop which then saves the session again, and then hand the progress over to the next driver. Now you will need at least one other teammate in order to complete a race. Finishing a race by yourself without letting your teammate drive at least one stint will land you a disqualification at the end of the race. So first let's look at how we start up a co-op session. When you enter the new co-op menu, you'll be presented with 3 available events. These 3 events will change once per month, and you can see when they're due to end on the top of each event card, which also displays the length of each event. To start an event, first click on the session you'd like to start. You'll then be met with the Overview tab, which gives us a brief description of the race format, including the event length, classes allowed, and any kind of race modifiers like increased fuel or tyre wear. On the right, you'll also be able to see the current points leaderboard for the event, more on the point system later. Once you're ready to start the session, hit the register button. You'll then be met with the car selection screen where you can choose your desired class and car. On the next screen, you'll then be presented with a list of all the players on your Steam's friend list who own Le Mans Ultimate, and choosing your desired teammates is as simple as checking the box next to their name. This will then send an invite to them which will be visible the next time that they open the game. Once you've chosen your teammates, give your team a name and then click Create Team. You'll then be brought to the My Team tab. Here you'll be able to see the current progress of the co-op session, as well as a list of your teammates and how much driving time they've had in the car so far. In the top right of the screen, you'll also be able to open the Team Options tab, where you can disband the team or even change who the next driver will be. This is indicated by a white steering wheel next to their name. You can also set the difficulty of the AI for the race, and this difficulty can be changed in between stints from this menu. If you want to practice and get a feel for the car and the track, then feel free to hit the practice button which will load up a practice session for you. Once you're ready to start the race, go ahead and click Start Qualifying. Important to note here is that whichever driver starts the qualifying session will also need to drive the first stint of the race. Now once you're in, everything operates like a normal single player race. So set up your car and then head out on track. Once qualifying is finished, click next session and set up your car, then start the race. Races will begin with a full formation lap. However, you can skip this and teleport the grid to the short formation lap starting point by hitting the backspace key. Now as the race progresses, whenever you enter the pits, the game will pause, and there's a few options here that we'll explain. First, we have all the pit stop options available, like the ability to change tyres and repair damage. What you'll notice here is that there's a new feature that allows us to use older tyres used in previous stints. This is important because you'll notice that in these events, there is a limited set of tyres available for the race. So keep an eye on this, otherwise you might find yourself in trouble later on. Now in the stint review panel, you'll see a brief overview of the condition of the car and the state of the race session. On the right side, you'll also see an area where you can leave behind helpful advice for your teammates on what's happening in the race. This chat history will also stay persistent through the entire co-op session, so you can flick back to earlier messages if you need. Now you'll see we have 2 options available to us. If you don't wish to stop driving and want to go for another stint, you can select Start Driving and continue the race. But if you're done driving and want to pass the session over to your teammates, click Driver Swap, then choose the next driver to take over. Once you've done this, the session will then close and you'll be returned to the My Team panel for the event. In the event that you do change your mind and want to keep driving, as the team leader, you'll be able to change the next driver back to yourself as long as your teammate hasn't taken over yet. So now let's take a look at how to join another player's session. Once you've been invited to a co-op session by your friends, you'll see this invite notification at the top of each specific event card. Clicking on this will open the Overview tab for the event. You'll then see the Invites button in the bottom right. Clicking this will show you a list of all the available team invites for this specific event. Important to note here is that you can only accept one team invite at a time for each separate event. Once you complete the event with your team, you'll then be able to accept another invite for it. Once you've accepted a team invite, you'll be brought to the My Team menu just like we saw earlier. Here we can see the current progress of the race as well as the current race standings on the right side of the screen. When it's your turn to drive, you'll see a steering wheel icon next to your name and the Start Stint button will also be available. Click this when you're ready to start driving. Once we enter the race, you'll see the standings board as well as the option to start your pit stop or swap to another driver if you've changed your mind and don't want to drive the car yet. Make sure you check that your pit stop is to your liking and check the stint review panel for any important messages left behind by your teammates. Then click start driving when you're ready. Now this process of driving and swapping teammates will repeat until you finish the race. If during one of your stints you aren't happy with how things have gone, you can always pause and restart the stint to give it another go. Once you do complete the race and exit the event, you'll be brought to a results screen which will showcase your team's result as well as how many points your team's earned, which then puts you on the leaderboard. Now let's explain what the co-op point system is. So whenever you or your teammates drive a stint, everything you do during a race will cause you to earn or lose points. Driving clean, consistent laps and overtaking other cars will earn you points, but any negative behavior like running off track or making contact with drivers or even being overtaken will lose you points. The amount of points you earn or lose from these actions is also determined by the difficulty level you selected. The higher the difficulty level, the higher amount of points that you earn. You can see how many points your team has accumulated so far during a race in the My Team tab, and you can see how many points each player on your team has contributed on the leaderboard by clicking your team's name. Now this point system is simply designed to give the co-op experience a bit more depth and offer a competitive element to teams who wish to try and test their limits against the AI and try to achieve the highest score possible. Even if you're not interested in the leaderboard, it's a really good way to push yourself and try to earn as many points as you can by driving as fast and as cleanly as possible. It's also a fun way of comparing your performance with your teammates too. So that covers the new co-op game mode in Le Mans Ultimate. This is a really exciting addition to the game because there's a large part of the community who only like to drive against AI. And this game mode is perfect for those people who are looking for a deeper AI racing experience that also allows them to enjoy it with their friends and doesn't feel so lonely like a traditional single player experience. If you're looking for some new friends to team up with in co-op events, then the official Le Mans Ultimate Discord has a dedicated channel where you can do just that. Links in the description below. Now, if you have any questions about the new co-op mode or about Le Mans Ultimate in general, then feel free to leave them in the comments section. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.